No, the title is not clickbait. Well, I mean, maybe it is a little bit of a clickbait because sports games do continue to deteriorate in quality, but Super Mega Baseball 4 is actually a ton of fun. I used to be what you would call an MLB The Show Andy. If it wasn't MLB The Show, and it was in the realm of baseball, I wasn't interested. So I made it to Super Mega Baseball 4 before I actually gave this game any time of me playing. And I will tell you what, boy, I have been missing out. Now, full disclosure, I have played exactly 51 minutes of Super Mega Baseball 3, so I had some idea of mechanics before I jumped into Super Mega Baseball. And jumped in I have done. So much so that I have been playing this game for 5 days straight. And by the time this video actually comes out, probably longer. And honestly, I think I came in at a good time because there are a ton of things to love about this game. First off, they've added a bunch of legends to the game, 240 to be exact, and they include some like David Ortiz, Babe Ruth, Billy Wagner, Ozzie Smith, Hank Aaron, and just the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It's a really good list of legends that they have added to the game. They also took some of the biggest baseball creators and put them into the game as well. Now, personally, I don't really give a shit about that, but it is still kind of cool that they did it. But that doesn't really sell the game. Well, I mean, legends might sell the game, and also putting creators into a game so that they then play the game and promote it because they were put into the game, that probably sells the game too. But for me, I want to know 3 things. What game modes do you have? How deep are those game modes? And what does the gameplay feel like? And for all 3 of those things, I was actually pleasantly surprised by Super Mega Baseball 4. Firstly, I do want to say that there are online leagues. I was looking through the online leagues, and none of them are really that full, but they are there. There are a few people who play them, it looks like. I'm sure you could probably get around a full league too if you really tried. And I'm not really good at the game yet, so it's not something that I did. I didn't get on and play a lot of the online stuff. I was more focused on the offline offerings that the game had. So today, I want to talk to you about a couple of things about Super Mega Baseball. First off, I want to start with the franchise mode. Now, this video isn't really catered to those who have 2,500 hours in Super Mega Baseball. I'm not sure how drastic changes have been from iteration to iteration of Super Mega Baseball within the franchise mode. I am looking at this from the stance of just jumping into the game for the first time. And when I jumped in to the franchise for the first time, I thought it was just going to be some simplistic, you play some games, you go to the next season, they put some people in your team, and just very basic. And that just wasn't the case for this game. It is actually surprisingly deep. Things like full stat tracking, including career stats in Super Mega Baseball. Full career stats. Single season leaders. So they have all of your leaders for the different batting and pitching statistics. Single season record holders. That tracks as you continue to play. Career record holders, which also tracks as you continue to play. And in-season free agency, that's built around a budget. Because yes, in this game you actually have a budget and people who make money. People that you have to sign. People that you have to re-sign. A pretty awesome player development system, which you get some risk and reward, and you have RNG coin flips on whether you add things or don't add things, and there's different traits, and it's a really interesting and in-depth system, and I like it a lot. And in tandem with the player development, your budget actually works into that too. So the lower that you spend on players, the more remaining budget you have, and that is then split evenly so that you can go in to develop the players that you currently do have. Now, if you spend a lot on players, you have less money to then develop players. So you can kind of take one or two routes, the Tampa Bay Rays route or the New York Yankees and New York Mets route. And at the end of the season, they have an actual free agency period where you are bidding on players to join the team. And if maybe you want to sit and wait on somebody, you can actually, go forward days, and the price that they're asking for slowly comes down until they get to a point where you want to sign them. They also have a fairly good simulation engine. At least it seems to work good. I haven't seen anything like crazy, but they do kind of balance teams out pretty well in the modes that they have. So that could probably just be what happens because of that. And I touched on it a little bit, but they have traits. Each player can have traits, good or bad. Then through the player development, you can remove or add traits. They also have a team chemistry, where the more of a certain chem that you have, the more that those traits are then affected by the overall team. It's an interesting concept and something that I enjoy. And it's something that you get to play around with as you're going through like the in-season free agency and the free agency at the end of the season as well. They also have a fatigue and fitness system, so people will get hurt. You then have to play bench players. They'll get fatigued, so their fitness will go down, which again, you'll have to actually bring in bench players to play. And also full customization of the league that you are running. I mean, this is an arcade game. Kind of. There's a lot in this. Now, there isn't any, scouting. There's no scouting system in this. New, young players coming out of college will just get put into a free agency pool at the end of the season, and then you can then bid on them to come play for your team. And when I was really looking at it, does it even matter? Because I was really thinking, most modern sports games nowadays have such shallow scouting system that the more you play them, the more it just becomes a tedious task that you have to do throughout the season. It's not really engaging. So, I mean, I just throwing them in there and just being like, yeah, sign them if you want them. It wasn't really a big thing for me. Well, holy shit, I am actually getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about league customization. So, in SMB4, you have the ability to start from 3 predetermined created leagues that they have. So you can do your standard Super Mega League. This has all of the characters that they created for the SMB, like specific created players, specific ages, to then be used to balance out teams. So you can do that. By the way, the entire roster is customizable. So if you want to go in and edit whoever you want, you can do that. You can do a Legends League. So that has all of the legends, the 240 legends. All those are included, so you can do a Legends League. Or you can do the Creator Classic, which has all of the creators that I was talking about. And you can go through a league with those creators. Now, when you choose a league, you have an option of starting with already made teams. Or you can do something that's new. That's called the Shuffle Draft. The Shuffle Draft allows you to pick from a pool of players with each round until you field an entire roster. Think like MLB The Show BR draft, but just a little bit different, as you're constantly trying to think of not only who is the best player, but also what player fits the chemistry that I'm building. What traits should I look for? Should I start getting benched now? Should I look at that later? So it's a little bit more in depth in a way. So it gives you 8 players to choose from. They're randomized based on their skill, because it starts at you can get an S tier or A, and then some A's, and then some B's, and then more B's, and then some C's, and then D's. So it kind of uses it as a way to get balanced teams to every team. But when you're building it out from the 8 players, I mean, you'll be looking at, certain things. Again, the traits, the chemistry. How old are they? Because that's a big thing too. Do you want to be wasting an A selection on somebody who's 42 years old? Probably not. One night, I actually just spent 2 hours just doing the shuffle draft, because I wanted to see what kind of variety there was, and each time it was different. So the variety was actually Really, really good. Gives you a different experience every time if you wanted to go the route of doing the shuffle draft.
But Zane, what if I want to do my own league with my own shit and my own rules? What now then, huh?
Hey, you, fucko. You can do that too. So, let's create a new league, choose how many conferences, choose how many divisions, choose how many teams we want. We can go up to 32. Now, let's name the league. Let's put together the conferences. Maybe you want to edit one of the names or the teams or the logo or the roster or whatever. Maybe you want to rename the conferences. Maybe you hate that DH is for every single conference. Maybe you want to change it to off for everything or go back to the on for one, off for the other. And like I said earlier, you can edit any of the players in the pool, any of them that you want. Go crazy. Do whatever. And when you're done, back out and boom, you just created a new league. Now, when you're going in and creating a franchise, you can just select that new league. Do anything you want for rules, and here is where you select what pool you want. So, do you want to play with a mixture of players across all of the leagues that they have? You can do that here. Just select all three, and all three of those will be put into the pool for your shuffle draft. Again, I just want to reiterate, I was not expecting for this game to be as deep and customizable as it is. Because I would say, from the outside looking in, this is very much an arcade game. And, come a little bit closer, between you and me, it is arcade, but weirdly, it's got some simulation in it too. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the gameplay. Now, the shuffle drafts and the franchise and all that stuff is definitely fun. But what has drawn me back to this game over the past several days that I've been playing it has been the gameplay. And I think it's because it's just fun. What a wild concept. Just making the gameplay fun. Now, this game is absolutely more arcade when compared to something like MLB The Show. I mean, look at it. But it has some input simulation actually baked in as well. Get underneath a ball with your reticle? That's a pop-up. Get over top of it? Well, that's a ground ball. Don't get your reticle on the ball at all and swing? Well, then you missed the fucking ball. Something MLB The Show could probably learn from. The game is also pretty tough to play if you want it to be. These pitches, they get in on you pretty quickly. And if they have enough skill, they are breaking a shit ton. Just getting the overall timing of everything has definitely been a little bit of a learning experience coming from MLB The Show. They also added another layer of timing, and that's with your power swing. So when you power swing, instead of just like hitting a button, you actually have to hold the button, and then a count goes up to 99, 1 to 99. So you have to hold it until you get close to the power, and then you release it to swing. But the pitcher is pitching this entire time, so you have to like time when to start holding it as the pitch is coming in, and then when to release it when you actually want to swing. Something so simple as that has made the timing just so much harder when compared to something like MLB The Show. And also, I'm kind of comparing this to MLB The Show, but that's just not fair for either game. But unfortunately, that's all we got for baseball right now, so yay. I do want to say, too, that I'm only on, like, 60 difficulty. The difficulty goes up to 100. I'm struggling at 60. I don't even want to imagine what this game's like at 100. I should probably try it, but I'm not going to because I like to have fun. But I think that my old eyes couldn't even see the ball at that point. The game also follows, input is king when it comes to the pitching. Where the reticle finishes is where the ball goes. It's not somewhere around the reticle or in the general vicinity of the reticle. No, where the reticle finishes is where the ball goes. I mean, unless you're using power pitch, which is essentially just, charging up the power and the circle moves in and out. And if you mess it up, the reticle is extremely huge. And, unless you're doing that. But if you're just pitching normally, where the ball goes is where the reticle is. And how wild the reticle get is purely based on your pitcher's accuracy. So the less accuracy they have, the more wild it is to actually get it where you want it to go, because the reticle is always moving against you. It's actually pretty fun and engaging. I actually really, really like the pitching system that they have. The one place that I would say is probably the least engaging is the fielding in Super Mega Baseball. Players will actually auto move towards where the ball is going to land, and your input will essentially make them get there faster, but then you can just release the stick and they just kind of find their way to where the ball's going to land. Now that I think about it, sometimes I wish MLB The Show would do that too. Or it would just guide it a little bit, because sometimes you'll just be under there waiting for it and the ball will just go and right over their head. So maybe it's a good feature of Super Mega Baseball. The one main caveat of it though is that there is no ball indicator. So if you have somebody let's say out in the outfield with bad fielding, without good user input, they could actually screw you over because they just don't find the ball as fast. And it's taken me some time to get the hang of. Something I still really haven't done yet. So I guess, in a way, kind of makes it more engaging, since I don't really have a grasp on it after 20 plus hours of playing the game. Even with that, though, just the overall gameplay experience over 9 innings, or 6, or 3, or 7, or whatever you choose, the full experience of it is it's so much fun. It's really engaging. Games go super fast. You're in and out of games very, very quickly. It's just a very streamlined, fun experience. But there's always a but. Let's talk about the horse in the room. Is that the saying? No. Let's talk about the giraffe in the room. That's the saying. Let's talk about what the fuck this game is $50. Yep. You saw that right. The game is $50. Some people will look at that and be like, nah, dog. Nope. Not gonna do that. I got MLB The Show. I'll just go grind Diamond Dynasty. I'll go rip open packs for 99s and look at the programs that they have 95s in. And honestly, I understand that. Because again, outside looking in, you look at this game and you're like, oh, it's just a silly arcade game. Doesn't really have any depth to it. Why would I play that? And I would say, if you are thinking about it, and if you have Game Pass, or if you have EA Play, you can actually go play SMB3 right now. You could see if maybe it is something that you would enjoy. Shit, did you even notice that I've just been playing SMB3 gameplay, right behind me, this entire section? I guess if you weren't paying attention, probably. But if you were, then you'd see that the name SMB3 is right there. Also, the game's lighting, player models, stadiums, everything of that nature is all better in SMB4, but that's besides the point. SMB3 allows you to do the customization to all of your teams. It has the franchise. It doesn't have the shuffle draft, but it has the franchise. It also has some of the same features that you would get in SMB4. Again, not as many. SMB4 does have quite a few additions, but you can get the general gist of it in SMB3. I would say go give it a try. See what you think. Did you like the gameplay of SMB3? Did you like the different take on a franchise mode? Do you want more fleshed out gameplay, especially defensively? Do you want more traits, more chemistry? The shuffle draft, that's not an SMB3. You can get an SMB4. Maybe you're a big thing with Legends. Maybe you like the creators and want to try them out. Maybe you just like the smell of a new car. Do you have $50 that you can put on a game that doesn't lock you into the constant hamster wheel of Ultimate Team? Then fuck it. Buy SMB4. I went in with no expectations. Bought the game and I was like, let's give it a try. And the game surprisingly has a platform to stand on, I think, for its franchise and its gameplay. Something I wasn't expecting. I would say it has one thing in mind with the way that it was designed. Will the user have fun playing this? And for me, that answer is yes.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in